The creature had become much slower, and they could see how it moved. It was indeed a great opportunity. Because its speed had been lowered, the creature failed to hurt Chen Zichen. When it landed, it watched the group of people coldly and did not seem to panic at all. All four of them showed their weapons and started to attack. However, the black metal wolf suddenly howled and quickly jumped again, its speed as fast as before. "Damn it, this creature is so weird that the time curse did not even work on it," exclaimed Yi Yufeng, looking frightened. Chen Zichen and Chen Nangsing were also pale. They could also tell that the speed of the wolf was not affected by the beast's soul. However, Han Sen did not think the wolf was immune to time curse. In fact, the time curse was already working on it. Since it did not slow down, it was very likely that in the beginning the wolf never used all it had got. It was trying to lure the whole group to come closer before it killed them all. The black metal wolf quickly flashed in front of Chen Nangsing, who was fast enough to summon a large copper shield more than 3 feet tall to block its claws. Crack! The 5 inches thick shield, which seemed extremely sturdy, was suddenly ripped open by the wolf claw like a piece of paper. "My sacred blood shield!" Chen Nangsing cried in anger. Chen Zichen and Yi Yufeng each cut at the wolf that just landed with a sword. As the sword flashed, the metal wolf had already thrown itself at Han Sen. Although Han Sen was holding the spinning spear, seeing what had happened with the sacred blood shield, he did not dare to block the wolf with the spear. His heart started to race, and incredible power filled his body. Han Sen stepped forward using Sparticle and dodged the metal wolf's attack. After it landed, the wolf did not immediately attack again. It turned around and gazed at Han Sen, obviously surprised that Han Sen could dodge the attack. In addition to the metal wolf, Chen Nangsing, Chen Zichen, and Yi Yufeng did not expect Han Sen to be able to avoid the wolf's attack either. Even they felt it was quite challenging to achieve that. As evolvers with their mutant geno points maxed out, the 4 men working for the Chens were all killed under the wolf's claws. The fact that Han Sen was able to run away as an unevolved person amazed them. "Go back," Yi Yufeng quickly shouted and started to run toward the entrance. Although the wolf was under the influence of time curse, they could still see no hope to kill it. Yi Yufeng and Chen Nangsing were quick, but just as they moved, the wolf appeared in front of them like a phantom, blocking the way to go out. "Damn it, I will fight it out with it." Chen Nangsing raised the copper shield, which was already falling apart, to the metal wolf. None of the guys dared to slack. Wielding their weapons, they knew very well that if they could not bypass the wolf, none of them could live. However, the behavior of the wolf showed them some hope. The reason they could not kill the wolf before was that they could not even hit it. However, if the wolf chose to block their way, it had to bear their attacks. This way, maybe they would have a chance to kill it. Shortly, they found that things were not as smooth as they thought it would be. The wolf not only dodged all their attacks, but also clawed at Chen Nangsing's shield in the blink of an eye. "Crack! Give me a beast's soul!" Yi Yufeng exclaimed, his eyes sparkling. Obviously, he had great faith in his strike. Bang! The dagger hit the wolf's neck and exploded. Thousands of smaller blades flew in all directions at the wolf with great speed. Han Sen was a bit shocked. No wonder Yi Yufeng was so confident. The dagger turned out to be a one-use beast soul like the ghost butterfly boomerang. It seemed it was also a sacred blood weapon. Otherwise, Yi Yufeng would not be so sure of himself. What happened next made Yi Yufeng turn pale. Thousands of small blades hit the wolf's body and clanked. With the weapon's sharpness and speed, it did not even cut the hair of the wolf, but fell on the floor like broken glass. How is that possible? Yi Yufeng almost stared his eyes out. Chen Nangsing and Chen Zichen were also dumbstruck. Obviously, they could also tell how good the dagger was. However, the wolf's performance made them feel desperate. Only Han Sen, who had determined the wolf to be a super creature, had guessed the result, and did not look surprised at all. After being attacked, the metal wolf was agitated. It howled again and came at Yi Yufeng. Blood suddenly spilled. Yi Yufeng used all his force to run. Although he managed to avoid being hit in the vital parts, his leg was clawed and blood started to well. Chen Zichen and Chen Nangsing had taken the opportunity to go out of the opening in the green gold wall, and quickly ran out. Because he was injured in the leg, Yi Yufeng could not run fast. Being the last one, he could no longer dodge the second attack from the wolf. Feeling desperate, Yi Yufeng raised his sword and wanted to cut the wolf before he died. Although it was pointless, he did not want to go down doing nothing. The sacred blood sword was useless against the wolf and immediately bounced back, almost cutting Yi Yufeng himself. Seeing the claws almost at his chest, although Yi Yufeng was wearing sacred blood armor, he did not think it could protect himself. "This is the end of me," he thought. All of a sudden, Yi Yufeng felt someone pulled him in the back away from the claws. Bang! Yi Yufeng was thrown out toward the exit. Getting up, he saw Han Sen standing opposite the wolf. Yu Feng was dazed. He did not believe Dollar would have saved him. Go, why are you standing there? Han Sen exclaimed with his eyes fixed on the wolf. The reason he saved Yu Feng was not because he liked the man, but because he had thought of a method to kill the super creature, and Yu Feng and his time curse would be a great help in Han Sen's plan. Yu Feng looked at Han Sen with complicated feelings and limped outside. As he ran, he kept looking back and saw the black metal wolf had thrown itself at Han Sen at the same high speed. Yu Feng did not have the heart to watch. Although he felt terrible, Han Sen was already doomed. If he did not leave fast enough, his life saved by Han Sen would also end there. Yu Feng gritted his teeth and ran as fast as his injured leg could carry him. Seeing Yu Feng had run out as well, Chen Zichen and Chen Naxing were dazed. Yu Feng was injured in the leg, and they thought it was unlikely that he could survive. Yu Feng did not bother to talk to the brothers and looked to the entrance. However, he did not see Han Sen come out. No need to look. That guy cannot make it, said Chen Naxing. Shut up. Although Yu Feng was thinking the same, he did not want to hear Chen Naxing say it out loud. Yu Feng could not understand why Dollar had chosen to save Yi at the risk of his own life in the end. When Chen Naxing was about to lose his temper, he suddenly heard footsteps from the nest. Is the wolf coming out? Chen Naxing suddenly panicked and quickly ran back, forgetting about Yu Feng's offense. Yu Feng looked down and was surprised by a golden figure. It was none other than Dollar. Dollar, it turns out you are also an evolver. You've been hiding it from us, said Chen Naxing. Dollar, if you need anything in the future, simply ask. I will remember this forever, Yu Feng said to Han Sen seriously. I do have something that I need to ask of you, said Han Sen bluntly. You have saved my life, so it is fair that I give my life back to you. Although Yu Feng also believed that going down equaled death, he agreed to do it anyway. Han Sen smiled and said, I am asking you to come because I know there is a way for us to fight the wolf. If I am asking you to die for me, I wouldn't have saved you just now. Before Yu Feng spoke, Chen Zichen asked, Dollar, you really think we could kill the wolf? If it is just Yu Feng and me, I think we have a 50% chance. If you and your brother join us, then we should have a 70% chance, said Han Sen, sure of himself. 70%. Chen Naxing looked at Han Sen incredulously and said, it was the four of us just now, and we even lost some sacred blood beast souls. Why would anything change when we try a second time? Last time, we did not know the wolf very well, but now we do, so we can design tactics according to its characteristics, which would increase our chance. Han Sen smiled and explained. Chen Zichen pondered and said, although that is right, I'm afraid tactics wouldn't work on the wolf. Its speed and strength are simply overwhelming. What if we add this into the equation? Han Sen summoned the Flame Lieutenant. The Flame Lieutenant appeared next to Han Sen. All the beast souls nearby suddenly had a red glow. Is this a sacred blood aura? The three guys were surprised to see Flame Lieutenant and feel the abilities of their beast souls enhanced. Exactly. The sacred blood or a beast soul could increase the power of all beast souls within a certain range. If we use it together with the time curse, we will further slow the wolf down. If we design properly, we will have a chance to kill it, said Han Sen. Chen Naxing looked at the Flame Lieutenant in surprise. A sacred blood aura was as rare as a three-legged person. All the gangs would die for even a mutant aura. The effect of a mutant beast soul aura was already incredible for a gang, let alone a sacred blood one. The fact that Han Sen had one to himself seemed to be a huge waste from Chen Naxing's perspective. Dollar was a lone wolf, while the aura was meant for a group. The more people there were, the more power the aura had. With the sacred blood aura, we can indeed give it a shot. Naxing, you have another sacred blood shield, right? I do have a backup, but it is my last one. These soul shields are hard to find. Chen Naxing felt reluctant to use his backup shield, afraid that it would be ruined by the wolf again. With the beast soul aura, the shield would be strengthened and could last longer. In addition, you don't even need to use it much. Just block the wolf when it is critical and take the shield back afterwards. As for how to distribute the gains, the meat of the wolf is mine, and whoever kills the wolf gets to keep the beast soul. Sounds fair, Han Sen proposed. The wolf must be a super creature. He wanted both the beast soul and life essence. He was not sure if he could get the beast soul, but he could not let anyone know about the life essence. The four of them explained all the beast souls they owned each and designed a plan to fight the wolf according to its characteristics. It took them a long while to finalize the plan. Remember, if we don't hit the wolf, go back immediately. Do not try to take risks. We can always go back as long as the wolf remained in the nest. No need to hurry. Chen Zichen repeated the plan before they went down. He was afraid that Han Sen and Yu Feng would disturb the plan to snatch the beast's soul. We'll do everything as we planned, Han Sen agreed. because he did not believe any of the others had what it takes to kill a super creature. The four of them entered the nest one by one as they planned. This time, Chen Nangsing was the first. Chen Nangsing was walking with a sacred blood shield over his head. His task was to block the first attack from the metal wolf so that Yi Feng had the time to use time curse on the wolf. As for Han Sen, although he was holding the spinning spear, he did not plan to use it. After all, a gear would not be enhanced by the aura because it was not a beast soul. Therefore, it was impossible for him to use it to kill a super creature. Han Sen was hiding the sacred blood sword and devil sword, planning to cut the wolf if he could find its weak spot. Holding a black round shield, Chen Nangsing walked into the nest, feeling nervous. This shield was much smaller than his copper one. Thinking of the incredible strength and speed of the wolf, he did not feel secure at all. With a howling, a black shadow suddenly dashed from a cell, leaving Chen Nangsing no chance to dodge. Chen Nangsing quickly raised the shield to protect himself. Bang! Feeling a strong force hitting the shield, Chen Nangsing was knocked dozens of feet away despite that he was pushing the shield with his shoulder. Chen Nangsing hit the wall and rolled over to get up, seeing 3 long marks added to the surface of his shield, which was obviously clawed by the wolf. With the buff from the Flame Lieutenant, the shield had become much stronger. Otherwise, it would have been destroyed already. Chen Nangsing quickly looked to the wolf and saw that Yi Feng had finished using time curse on it. Seeing that the wolf had become much slower, Chen Nangsing let out a sigh of relief. However, the wolf quickly threw itself again at Chen Nangsing. Although it had been slowed down, the speed was still frightening. Holding their weapons, Han Sen and Yi Feng rapidly launched attacks at the wolf. Under the buff of Flame Lieutenant, the time curse had slowed the wolf down significantly. However, the super creature could still manage to dodge all the attacks of the four and fight back at times. Although it was 1 against 4, the wolf still had the advantage. The 4 of them had to collaborate with one another to cope with the creature. Fortunately, they had planned ahead of time and did not panic. Damn it, why is the wolf so fierce? Chen Nangsing was clawed again at his shoulder. Although he managed to avoid being hit in the vital parts, his shoulder was scratched deeply, and blood was flowing. Bang! Han Sen stabbed his spear at the wolf, which was the first time they had ever hit the creature. However, the spinning force was useless on it. The metal wolf shook its body and got rid of the spear, its fur completely intact. Retreat immediately, Chen Zichen exclaimed. All 4 of them were injured to different extent, so it would make no sense for them to keep going. According to their original plan, they fought as they backed out. Eventually, they made it into a small channel. Although the wolf tried to chase after them, the channel was too narrow for it, so it gave up. After resting and healing for 2 days on the ground, the 4 of them went back to fight the wolf with no success. However, although they were not able to beat the wolf, they had learned more and more about the creature through the repeated efforts. They could hit the wolf more and more often, and they got injured less and less frequent. However, they could never hurt the wolf. Even sacred blood weapons left no mark on its body. The creature is so strong. I'm afraid we could not kill it even if we continue to try, said Chen Nangsing, dejected after several failures. Chen Zichen and Yi Feng remained silent. In fact, they agreed with Chen Nangsing. The metal wolf was so incredibly strong that they could never hurt it. However, they had gone too far to give up. Everyone looked to Han Sen. Naturally, Han Sen did not want to give up. Although they were not able to hurt the metal wolf, they had hit it multiple times. Han Sen had closely observed the reaction of the wolf. Although super creatures had incredible fitness levels, some were weaker than others. This metal wolf was more or less on the same level as the baby golden growler. It was only fast, but lacking otherwise compared to the adult golden growler. All kinds of creatures had their own weaknesses, but since the overall fitness of a super creature was too good, their weaknesses could be overlooked. For example, when Han Sen first encountered the baby golden growler, he could not even injure its eyes. This time, the situation was similar, but better. After repeated provocations, Han Sen gradually discovered the weaker part of the wolf. However, it was only relatively weak. Even in its weaker part, Han Sen felt like it would take more than 35.0 in fitness, plus the sacred blood sword, devil sword, and flame lieutenant to cause any injury. Han Sen had learned that the weakest part in the metal wolf's body was its jaw. Han Sen felt like Metal Wolf was always carefully protecting its jaw, so it would not be difficult to hit it there. Fortunately, because the group of people were too weak for the Metal Wolf to stay alarmed. It had fought the group lots of times and started to think that they could never hurt it. This was what Han Sen had been trying to achieve. The reason he did not use the Sacred Blood Sword and Devil Sword was to wait for this to happen. He would only have one chance. If he could not make it, the wolf would be guarded in the future. Therefore, Han Sen had been holding back and waiting for the best chance to make the fatal attack. Han could tell that the Chen brothers were having second thoughts and did not feel hopeful anymore. If it was not for the fact that Han had saved his life, Yifeng would probably give up as well. How about we just let it go? Chen Nangxing said after hesitating for a long while. After all, they could not stay in First God's sanctuary for too long, otherwise their body would suffer irreversible damage. They could not waste all their time there. Chen Zichen also said, You see that the metal wolf has really tough skin. Even if we have the chance, we can never injure it. We have tried almost stabbing it everywhere, but it simply did not work. It would be a waste of time if we continue to try. Han pondered and said, You can choose to stay or leave as you wish. Then, Han looked to Yifeng and asked, What's your plan? At this point, Han had known the wolf very well. Even without the two brothers, he could beat the wolf. However, without the time curse, Han was not so sure. After all, the wolf was too fast for Han to hit it in the jaw. Yifeng said quietly, You have saved my life, so it is only natural that I do whatever you say. If you need me, I'll be here. In that case, help me and let's try again. Han was glad that Yifeng said that. Without the time curse, Han was not sure how likely he was to succeed. Yifeng nodded and did not speak. Chen Zichen and Chen Nangxing felt awkward and got up. We'll leave now. Wish you success. Although they said that, they did not believe that the two of them could kill the metal wolf. Chen Nangxing even believed that without the two brothers, and Yifeng might be in danger. After all, neither of them had a sacred blood shield, so there was no way they could defend themselves. Before leaving, Chen Zichen gazed at Han and Yifeng, hesitated and said, We have spent more than a month together. No matter what you think, I have a lot of respect for the two of you. Here is a word that I would like to share, if you don't mind. Please, said Han We don't belong in the First God's sanctuary and should not waste too much time here, Chen Zichen said and got up to fare Han and Yifeng well. Chen Zichen's words reminded Han since he had not evolved, he would not suffer from the punishment of God's sanctuary. However, Han did not know how long ago Yifeng evolved. If Yifeng kept staying, he might suffer irreversible damage in his body. Han told Yifeng, If you don't feel well, leave with them. I should be able to last a few days more, said Yifeng. Then let's rest for 2 hours and try again. After resting for a while, Han and Yifeng again entered the nest. In the broken wall, Han told Yifeng, I will lure the wolf out, and all you need to do is to summon the time curse. You don't have to fight the wolf this time. Okay, replied Yifeng and did not say anything more. Han took a deep breath and entered the opening. He was walking in an odd way. He was not following a straight line, but swinging left and right. It looked like he was a cripple. Han had integrated kiting skills and the skeleton's disordered movements into his walking, making his opponent unable to tell where he was really going. Even if the metal wolf rushed out, Han was sure that he could dodge its attack. Suddenly, the wolf threw itself at Han like a ghost. However, the direction it went was off because of the skills Han used, so Han was able to avoid its attack. Yifeng was fast enough to attach time curse to the wolf. With the help of Flame Lieutenant, the wolf had become much slower, and Han could see where it was moving. Han immediately stabbed his spear at the wolf. Because they had fought multiple times, the wolf knew that the spear could not injure. It simply slightly moved aside before throwing itself at Han again. However, Han had used the kiting skills to avoid its snap and knew very well where the wolf would be going. After releasing the time curse, Yifeng initially wanted to help Han fight. However, after watching for a while, Yifeng stopped in surprise. After spending more than a month with Han Yifeng thought Han should be a strong evolver with his sacred Geno points maxed out. However, Han would not be much stronger than the two brothers and himself. Originally, Yifeng did not think they could do well in this last shot. After all, they were missing two people, and it would be an issue how to distract the wolf. However, Han was distracting the wolf himself, which showed Yifeng something he had never seen before. Since the four of them were working together previously, Yifeng had not been able to tell Han strength. With Han facing the wolf alone, Yifeng felt shocked. Even with the Flame Lieutenant and time curse used, Han who had shapeshifted was still much slower than the wolf. Normally speaking, Han would not be able to dodge all the attacks from the wolf. However, Han managed to avoid all the wolf's attacks easily, without sweating. Yifeng couldn't believe his eyes. Han was much slower than the wolf, so how could he easily avoid its attacks? Yifeng felt more and more puzzled. Han footwork did not seem to be too strong. Even at his best, he was still slower than the wolf. However, Yifeng felt like no matter how fast the wolf was, it was impossible for it to hit Han Yifeng felt more and more odd, his brows knitted. Suddenly, Yifeng thought of something and appeared to be shocked. He couldn't help exclaiming, "Is that Heavenly Go? Is Dollar a descendant of that person?" Although Yi Yufeng had heard about Heavenly Go, he had never witnessed it being used. Therefore, he was not sure if Han Sen was using Heavenly Go. The techniques Han Sen was using made him feel it should be similar to the legendary Heavenly Go. Although Han Sen was slower than the wolf, he could easily dodge its snaps. When Yi Yufeng looked closely, it almost felt like the wolf was controlled by Han Sen. If Yi Yufeng tried to help Han Sen, he might even disrupt Han Sen's plan. Han Sen had never practiced Heavenly Go. He had just learned kiting skills from Queen and had no idea what Queen was practicing. However, Han Sen did not have time to think about that. All his focus was on the metal wolf. For this one chance, Han Sen had been holding back for more than a month and refrained from using his sacred blood sword and devil sword. Because the spinning spear could not be enhanced by the Flame Lieutenant, and the fact that Han Sen was holding back himself, he posed the least threats to the wolf. Facing him alone, the wolf was the least guarded at this point, which was exactly what Han Sen needed. Even if the Chen brothers did not ask to leave, Han Sen would also try to fight the metal wolf alone. Only by doing this could he execute his plan. Watching the target stepping into his scheme, Han Sen's eyes were as calm as water. Although his heart was beating rapidly because of heresy mantra, his mind was extremely peaceful. The wolf was roaring from time to time. For so many days, the wolf had been disturbed by the group repeatedly, so it had wanted to eat them alive for a while. At this point, Han Sen was facing the wolf alone, but the wolf even hit him, which made the wolf snap harder. Seeing the creature getting agitated, Han Sen was delighted. The more frantic the wolf was, the more likely he was to succeed. Gradually, the wolf was led to the designed spot by Han Sen. In other words, Han Sen was forced into a corner by himself. It was a narrow corner between two stone walls. The two walls formulated an angle of 45°, and there was a large stone about 3 feet tall in front of Han Sen. If the wolf wanted to attack Han Sen, and must jump over the large stone. In order to do that, the wolf had to jump much higher than usual, which would force it to expose its jaw to Han Sen. Coming back from death was Han Sen's only option, and Han Sen's only chance. The wolf was extremely enraged. Seeing that Han Sen, who was super sly, forced into the corner and had nowhere to go, the wolf couldn't help jumping over and throwing itself at Han Sen, trying to kill him with one blow. Yi Yufeng, who was watching, suddenly became pale. As he tried to rush over, he realized it was too late. Yi Yufeng had to watch the wolf going at Han Sen. Staring at the wolf coming at him, Han Sen stayed still like a stone. The moment that the jaw of the wolf was exposed to Han Sen, he flipped his wrist, and a silver sword covered in black smoke suddenly reached forward. This move was so unexpected that even a human could not see it coming, let alone a creature. In addition, before Han Sen attacked, he almost seemed indifferent. There was no way of telling his murderous intent. It was a great contrast between how fierce this move was and how cool he seemed. Thump. With the use of heresy mantra, Han Sen's heart ran like an engine, making horrendous sounds, which could even be heard outside of his body. Veins stood out on the body of the bloody slayer. Han Sen felt that his muscle and bones were on fire, generating tremendous heat. Using overload at its extreme, Han Sen's body was like a volcano. If Han Sen went a hair over, his body would explode. Whoosh! The tip of the sword cut the black fur with friction. There were even sparkles. Kill! Han Sen roared and motivated every last ounce of energy in his body, pushing the sword through the fur into the flesh of the wolf. Blood started to flow along the blade. Suddenly, the wolf turned its head back and threw itself at Han Sen, determined. It seemed that the wolf was going for mutual destruction, knowing itself could not survive. Dodging the wolf's attack, Han Sen swept the spear across at the wolf, sending it into the air. Before the wolf fell, Han Sen lifted its body higher with the spear. Bam bam bam. The wolf was strapped by the spear so fast that it could not even land. Han Sen knew that the spinning spear could not break the wolf's fur, so it was pointless to stab the creature. He was simply beating the wolf hard to make its wound tear. More blood flowed from the wolf's jaw. Yi Yufeng was dashing among the creatures. When he approached Han Sen, he saw Han Sen whipping the metal wolf, which used to be invincible, and had now lost the ability to fight back. Suddenly, Han Sen turned the spear around and drove it into the wolf's injured throat, nailing the wolf's body to the stone wall. Bang! The wolf's body hit and smashed the wall. The spear was driven into the wolf's injury with a strong spinning force. Blood spurted from the wolf's throat. The creature had lost all its energy and even stopped struggling. With blood and sparkles, the head of the spear eventually hit the wolf's brain. Larva of super creature cursed wolf killed. Beast soul of cursed wolf gained. Life essence available. Meat inedible. Watching the body of the cursed wolf dissolving, Han Sen quickly grabbed the black life essence, overjoyed. Super beast soul. Super beast soul. I have another super beast soul. Han Sen almost wanted to shout to express his joy. However, Han Sen stopped himself and put away the life essence before Yi Yufeng saw it. Han Sen did not want to leak the existence of the super creatures. It would cause so much trouble. As Yi Yufeng and Han Sen slaughtered the creatures, there was nothing that could stop the two of them. The two of them quickly got to where the egg was. What they saw made them feel shocked. Where the egg should be was empty. Han Sen and Yi Yufeng both felt odd. With all the creatures still alive, it was unlikely that the egg was gone. It was hard for them to believe that someone could hide himself from all the creatures and break the egg. In addition, Yi Yufeng was the one who found the nest first. Before he was there, the green gold wall was still intact, so no one could have entered the place. Did the Chen brothers manage to break the egg without alarming any creatures when they came down the first time? Yi Yufeng murmured to himself, but felt his guess was unlikely. Han Sen suddenly had a thought. Was the cursed wolf hatched from the egg? When Han Sen returned to the shelter, he had gained 2 more sacred Geno points and now had 85. After going back to his room, Han Sen summoned the beast soul of the cursed wolf excitedly. Type of beast soul of cursed wolf, weapon. A black dagger suddenly appeared in Han Sen's hand. Although it was just a bit more than a foot long, it was heavier than an average broadsword. The blade was so thin that it was almost transparent, making Han Sen feel cold when looking at it. Han Sen wielded the dagger, and a Z steel block was sliced in half with no resistance. Without a good target, Han Sen could not tell what other strengths of the weapon were. Super Beast Soul Weapon. Han Sen almost laughed out loud as he had been overjoyed with his new gain, which was exactly what he needed at the moment in order to hunt super creatures. With this dagger, he would never worry that he had nothing to kill a super creature with. If he ran into the baby golden growler again, Han Sen could kill it without a doubt. However, it would not be easy for him to go to that island again. In addition, he was not sure whether the baby golden growler would stay on the island. Han Sen had to give up the thought. Although super creatures were rare, he should be able to find one if he was paying attention. There was no need for him to go that far. The most important thing was to become stronger himself. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss the next chapter.